Good afternoon, and welcome to the Bluefield State College Virtual Open House for our engineering programs. My name is Dr. Anthony Underwood, and I'm the Chief Enrollment Officer at the college. Please make sure your microphones are muted for the sake of clarity and to make sure that all can hear our presenters. There will be time for questions, and we ask that you use the chat access at the bottom of your screen to ask all questions, which I will read for all to hear. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Provost and Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs for Bluefield State College, Dr. Ted Lewis.
Thank you, Dr. Underwood. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Ted Lewis, and I serve as the Provost and Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs here at Bluefield State College. On behalf of our faculty, staff, and administration, it's my privilege to welcome you. Bluefield State College is a very special place that's played a significant role in the development of public higher education in West Virginia. You'll find that Bluefield State provides a friendly and safe environment with a deeply supportive faculty and staff committed to helping you along your journey to success. We empower you by creating spaces where you can have a robust educational experience on a daily basis and achieve your academic and professional goals. Bluefield State College offers a variety of certificates, 2- and 4-year degrees in 4 schools. The School of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, STEM, which you'll hear much more about our outstanding engineering program from Dr. Bowling in just a few minutes. The School of Nursing and Allied Health, the W. Paul Cole Jr. School of Business, and the School of Education, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Among these are 11 nationally accredited programs. We also have 10 NCAA athletic teams. With smaller class sizes, you have the opportunity to get to know your faculty much closer and work much more closely with them. Student support services include academic tutoring and mentoring, counseling, cultural enrichment trips, seminars, workshops, open computer lab access, veteran services, and services for disabled students. The Student Life Office is dedicated to assisting you to gain as much as possible from your total college experience by providing leadership opportunities, cultural and educational activities, entertainment, intramural activities, events both on and off campus, and more than 24 student organizations and programs. U.S. News recently ranked Bluefield State College as one of the top 15 public schools in the South and the top public school in the state of West Virginia. Our students excel both academically and athletically, with teams winning world championships in GLOBUS business simulation, International Intelligent Ground Vehicle Competition, and AutoNav Challenge, national championships in USCA men's golf, ECAC women's basketball, and regional championships in the Enactus business competition, steel bridge building, and men's tennis. Many wonderful things are happening at Bluefield State College, and we look forward to having you as part of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. With program and career information regarding our engineering programs, let us welcome Dr. Shannon Bowling, Associate Professor of Electrical Engineering Technology. Professor Bowling?
Let me, okay, I was going to share my...
I'm going to make you the host so you can share.
Okay.
There you go.
Can everyone see this?
Yes.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. As was stated earlier, my name is Shannon Bowling. I'm an associate professor in electrical engineering technology and in engineering management. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the School of STEM and some of the programs that we offer in the school. So currently, the School of STEM has programs offering both AS and BS degrees in engineering technology and computer science. We offer other degrees, but I'm just going to be talking about our engineering technology and computer science degrees. So the degrees that we offer are both AS and BS degrees in civil engineering technology, electrical engineering technology, mechanical engineering technology. We offer a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science and a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering management. We also offer 2 online degrees. We offer an AS degree in electrical engineering technology. We refer to this as the industrial track. How this differs from the traditional AS degree in electrical engineering technology is this is considered a terminal degree, meaning that it's just an AS degree, whereas our traditional electrical engineering technology degree, the AS degree leads into a BS degree in electrical engineering technology. For our online degree, you can finish your Bachelor of Science degree in engineering management. So if you already have, say, an AS degree, you can go directly into the engineering management degree if you're interested in getting your degree online. If you don't have a degree and you're just starting college, or you're coming back after some time, you can enroll in the AS degree, and then you can use that to fulfill the requirements to be enrolled into the BS degree. So that's how the AS electrical engineering technology industrial track differs from our traditional electrical engineering technology AS degree. One of the things that I like to always talk about when I'm talking about our degree programs, and I'm talking about, basically just pursuing, a college education in general, the vast majority of people, currently in today's world really go to college so they can get a job. It wasn't always the case when you look at history of college education, but pretty much that encompasses the vast majority of people. So what I have done is I have just kind of gone through the years. Every odd year I've looked at the salary of the highest paying jobs. So I go all the way back to 2011, and I'll just run through this, pretty quickly. But if you look at, say, 2011, the top 10 undergraduate or bachelor's degree, when you look at the top paying jobs, you can see that particular year, 8 of the 10 top paying jobs were degrees in either computer science or engineering, or some type of either information science, which relates to computer science, or business system networking. So what I was trying to show in this particular slide is here at Bluefield State, we offer basically 8 of the top 10 paying degrees for 2011. If you look at 2013, pretty much right in line, the same statistics. The numbers change a little bit from year to year, but that's just due to inflation. 2015, once again, we can see that, most of your top paying degrees, in fact, in 2015, if you look at your mid-career pay, pretty much all of these were in engineering. The ones that I have circled here in red are the degrees that we offer here at Bluefield State College. 2019, I kind of jumped ahead. You can see the vast majority of the top paying degrees are in engineering. So the point that I try to make is it's a good investment. If you're interested in going back to school and you kind of want to maximize what your salary is going to be, you really can't go wrong with going into engineering technology, computer science, any type of STEM field, to be honest with you. Because, like it or not, that's why a lot of us go to college, and the last thing you want to do is go to college and not be able to to get a good paying job. Now, one of the questions that I'm often asked is, what's the difference between engineering and engineering technology? What's the difference between the two degrees? Bluefield State, all of our degrees engineering are in engineering technology. And a couple years ago, I created this graph to kind of show the difference. It's kind of a continuum of going from a highly theoretical profession degree to more of a practical profession. So if you start at really the top, and when I say the top, I'm talking more about in terms of theory, that would be mathematics. So if you really wanted to be as theoretical as possible, you would probably get a PhD, a degree in mathematics. The job options for that is to be a professor, a researcher, a data analyst, that type of job. Then kind of the next tier down, you're dealing with, getting into the real world, which is physics, which is kind of a step below mathematics. And also you'd be a professor, researcher, designer. And then it goes down into being engineering, where you're really doing more conceptual design and research development. Then engineering technology, which is more of a little bit of design, but mostly implementation, testing. Technician, you're getting, to like say heating and air conditioning, service, maybe a machinist, that type of profession. And then, trade worker, which is electrician, plumber, welding. So you're really down to the practical, aspect of what your job would be. So at Bluefield State, I often refer to our degree as an engineering technology plus degree, meaning that, we lie somewhere between traditional engineering and engineering technology. We still have the engineering technology flavor because we have a lot of practical, hands-on courses, which I think really distinguish us from a lot of other engineering technology degrees. But we're also heavy in the math and sciences, so you're probably going to take a little more math and science than you would in a traditional engineering technology degree. So we fall somewhere between a traditional engineering technology degree and a traditional engineering degree. And I'll, kind of talk about that a little bit here in just a couple minutes when I look at our curriculum compared to other curriculums of different degrees. So here is an example. I just took this curriculum from Virginia Tech because it's down the road an hour or so. And I looked at, one of their degrees. I just picked one, industrial systems engineering. And then one of our degrees, a comparable degree, would be in engineering management. And one of the things that you'll notice, if you look at a traditional engineering degree, early on, it's really kind of heavy for your math and sciences. So the traditional thinking behind that is you get the fundamentals out of the way, you get the basics out of the way, and you get into your engineering degree, your courses, which usually doesn't happen really to, late sophomore, early junior years. Whereas we have designed our curriculum so we space it throughout the whole degree program. So you'll notice, for instance, in your 5th semester, you're taking Calculus 2, whereas in a traditional engineering degree, you may be taking a Calculus 2 equivalent your freshman year. But if you look at the curriculum, what you'll find is you're also taking more programmatic courses or more practical courses. So we've kind of embedded your math and science courses throughout the entire curriculum. And, we do that in part because we offer both an AS degree and a BS degree. So one of the things that I often say, if you're getting a traditional engineering degree at a 4-year institution, if you go 2 years, if you go 3 years, you finish with nothing. At Bluefield State, if you come and start in one of our programs and you get 2 years into the program and decide, I'm kind of tired of school, I don't have time, I want to get a job, you're able to do that because you're able to come out with an actual degree. Whereas if you go to another institution that's a 4-year only institution, 3.5 years is basically equivalent to 0. You can't really go out into the job market and say, I have almost a degree. Whereas there's a lot of opportunity if you come out with a 2-year degree to get a well-paying job. And some of our students actually do that, and they've done quite well. And then maybe, a few years down the road, they decide that they want to come back and finish up their BS degree. Our degree is very conducive to that, whereas most degree programs are not conducive to that. If you get 2 or 3 years into your degree program and stop, and then you want to come back in a few years, it's going to be very, very difficult to do that. But at Bluefield State, we make it much easier to do that. Here's kind of an example of what you can expect to make. I picked Virginia Tech. This is a little bit older data, but the numbers are still very close. I recently looked at them, and they're only like $1,000 or so difference. And so you can see, if you look at their College of Engineering, the median 50 percentile, their graduates are earning about $60,500. That's probably closer to $61,000, maybe $62,000 in say the year 2020. And the reason why I show you this is a large university, a well-known university, but our graduates commonly make that amount of money. I mean, it's not uncommon at all for one of our graduates to go out into the job market and easily make $60,000 a year, and that's working locally. If you want to move, you can usually make much more than that. A couple years ago, a student graduated, and I was in my office, and they came back. This was a couple years after they graduated, and they handed me this piece of paper. and they said, I want to give this to you. I'm not really bragging or anything about how well I've done, but I want you to use this to recruit students, because coming to Bluefield State College changed my life, is what they told me. And this was the job offer that they had received. They'd received $80,000 a year with all these benefits. And that's in part why I show you, it's like, this isn't a Virginia Tech presentation, but I wanted to show you how well our graduates do relative to a large university. So our graduates usually do very well. We have essentially a 100% placement rate. To be honest with you, there's usually more jobs out there than we have graduates. So you can be just about guaranteed that if you get a degree from Bluefield State College in one of our engineering technology programs, that you're going to get a well-paying job. This was another example of a student that contacted me a couple years ago, basically telling me that they'd found, the job of their dreams. And as you can see, the third paragraph, I was stunned by the salary they offered me. Couldn't be happier about it. So I didn't go into, questioning them how much that they were offered. But usually, if someone says they're stunned by the salary, that's a pretty good indication that they're happy with their job. And so throughout the years, I've gotten these letters, emails, many times about students telling me how happy they are that they came to Bluefield State. One of the questions that I always ask is just on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your job and how well you've done? And I don't think, honestly, that anyone has ever told me less than a 9. And so that's all I really need to know. I don't need to know specific numbers. If someone's telling me that they're happy with a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, then, I'm just going to take that for what it is. I want to talk about a little bit of the options if, a lot of our students are working, they're trying to come back to school. So we do have the option of getting your degree online. This is what one of those options would look like. Let's suppose you're just starting college. You don't really have, any college transfer credits you can bring in. You might start out in the AS industrial track. Over a period of 2 years, you can finish that up, and then you would go on into your bachelor's degree. Of course, we have several different options where if you want to come to campus or kind of do a hybrid model, a lot of our courses now are taught online. These are the only 2 degree programs that we guarantee that you can finish online. So while the other programs, you can take a lot of your classes online, they will require you to come to campus under normal circumstances. With the COVID, the world has changed, so we don't really know how long that's going to last. But under normal circumstances, you would have to come to campus to finish those degrees, whereas these 2 you can finish completely online. We also offer a minor in applied mathematics and statistics, and the reason why this is important is sometimes our students want to go work on their master's and their PhD. I'm an example of one of those students. I came to Bluefield State College. I was born and raised in Bluefield, West Virginia. And I came here in 1996, finished up my degree, and then I went away, got my master's degree and my PhD, and then I was a faculty member at a large university for 7 years, and I ultimately moved back to the area. So Bluefield State College really prepared me to pursue a graduate degree, something that honestly I didn't even know what a graduate degree was when I started college. So if you think you may be interested in that, one of the things that you can do is to minor in applied mathematics and statistics, and this will help prepare you for those graduate level courses if you ever do want to pursue that. It's not a requirement, but we do offer this option. Recently, we did some analysis on how well, as an institution, our school is in terms of return on investment. So some of the statistics that you heard early on about us, being top 15 and one of the best schools in the state of West Virginia. Well, here's some numbers to kind of back this up. So basically, payscale.com, it's fairly recent, did an analysis on institutions in the United States with the highest ROI, or return on investment. And, you can see they have a list here. Well, we don't really report a lot of statistics. We're a small school and that sort of thing. So we're really not known nationwide. It's just something, kind of a byproduct of being a smaller school. But we went in and compiled our own statistics and compared our numbers to other institutions. And we found that our return on investment was about 11.27% per year. So when you compare that to these other institutions, you can see that we're third only behind the Georgia Institute of Technology, which is really one of the top engineering schools in the country, really in the world, and the Colorado School of Mines. But I mean, you can see there's some big name schools here: MIT, Stanford, Princeton, Caltech. So in terms of how well our students do, we compete very well nationally. And you also have to realize that takes into account that the vast majority of our students try to stay local. So these institutions are recruiting students from all over the world. Those students are getting their degrees, and then they're moving to different parts of the country where the cost of living is much higher. So you take a graduate coming out of, say, MIT, moving to San Francisco, California, making $90,000 a year. In terms of their quality of life and how much their dollar buys, that's really probably not as good as a student graduating from Bluefield State College working locally making $60,000 a year. So you have to take that into account. And a lot of times national statistics don't take that into account. They just kind of want to tout how well their students are doing, but they're not telling you, that if a student moves to San Francisco or Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington, or someplace like that, they may be paying twice as much, in terms of buying a house and fuel cost and travel, transportation costs to and from work and all those sorts of things. So we do really well. I'd like to finish up with, one of the reasons why Bluefield State is such a great deal. I think this figure, kind of tells the story. You see a lot of what I call young kids, and I refer to them as kids. I'm getting older now. But, they'll start out in college and after 4 or 5 years graduate, and they're 5 figures in debt, $60, $70, $80, $100,000 in debt. Whereas if you stay local, and go to a local college, if you're younger, you live at home, or you're already working, you can come out of school nearly debt-free, or at least you could probably pay it off within a year or so of working if you really decided you wanted to pay it back. So that's a big deal now, because you see a lot of young people basically that are indebting themselves. Essentially, it's like a second mortgage just for their education. So that's why I think Bluefield State is such a big deal. Some of our accomplishments, recent accomplishments, like was stated earlier, we've done well in terms of competing nationally and internationally. A few years ago, we won first in an IGBC competition, which is basically an autonomous robot competition. We regularly do well in steel bridge building competitions. A couple years ago, we took second place overall in the world. And then 2 years later, we went back and we won first place. And we were competing against major universities. So at the time, we were the only 4-year institution competing. All the other schools were universities. And, our AS and BS degree students were competing against master's and PhD students at other large universities. We recently received $1.5 million art grant to upgrade our labs, so we really have state-of-the-art labs now. So we've got a lot of really good things going for us now. So I just want to finish up by saying that the opportunity that BSC provides for students, we're making a difference in student lives, and graduates are equipped with skills that will allow them to obtain well-paying jobs and become productive citizens in society. That's pretty much my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Bowling. All right. I'm going to reclaim the host here, maybe. Let's see. Dr. Bowling, if you can, if you'll click on my name and make me host again in the participants window. We'll use this opportunity to see if anyone has any questions of Dr. Bowling. If you do have questions about the degree program or career prospects, or no matter how specific or general they may be, please type those questions out if you don't mind. Just take your mouse and hover at the bottom, and where it says chat, click on chat and just type in your message, and I'll read that out, and Dr. Bowling can answer that for everyone. So does anyone have any questions at all about the program or any of the programs, about requirements or income expectations or career goals or anything like that? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, great. So what we'll do is we'll move on and have a quick discussion about admissions and financial aid, because those are the things that everybody needs to know about, because everybody has to go through those processes. So first, let's talk about admissions. So whether you're thinking of starting in January, or whether you're thinking of starting this coming August in 2021, you do need to go ahead and start the application process. So if you haven't done that already, you can do that at bluefieldsstate.edu/apply. It's a free process. We don't charge anything to apply to the college. So you can go ahead and get that started. And like I said, regardless of when you're thinking about doing that, I would go ahead and take care of that. Typically, we need your high school transcripts, unless you've been out of high school for more than 5 years. In which case, if you've been to other colleges, we'll need transcripts from there as well. So a lot of folks will ask, hey, I haven't been to college. I started college, but I haven't been in 10 years, and I really don't want to include those records. You do have to. If you've ever been to college for any length of time, no matter how long ago, we do need your college records. Once we have your required transcripts, typically we would also need your ACT or SAT scores. However, for general admission to the college, this year only, the governor of the state of West Virginia has allowed colleges, four-year colleges, to look at other admissions criteria to replace that. So we're not looking at, for a general admission to the college, we're not looking at the ACT or SAT score if you're planning on starting either in January or in August. There are some selective programs that require that, but we don't require it for general admission. So let's talk about financial aid for a second. Financial aid, a lot of times it worries folks. It's very similar to filing for taxes because it's a lot of the same information. And you can do it online at fafsa.gov, not .com, not .org, .gov. Make sure you choose that one. It stands for the free application for student aid, and the importance of it cannot be overstated. You really have to file that as soon as possible. Whether you're planning to start in January or August, you can file it now. It started in October. You can file it now, and it uses tax information from 2019. They try to make it easy on you. As you start to file, if you haven't already, you'll notice that it says that you can select to bring in your tax information from the IRS, and you just have to review it and make sure that it's all right or that it's correct. But that helps make it it's a lot easier than it used to be. But don't wait to do that. And here's the thing about both admissions and financial aid, the processes. We're going to be here to help you step by step. And by that, I don't mean we're just going to sit around and wait for you to say, hey, I've got a problem. Can you help me? Because sometimes you may not know that you have a problem, or if you're like so many people that I know, including myself at one point, sometimes you're afraid to ask for help, or you don't feel comfortable. Our admissions counselors are going to reach out to you either by email or phone or text, whatever works, and they're going to let you know what the next step is. They're going to say, hey, you've yet to get us your high school transcript and we need it. And so they'll go and they'll take care of that. They'll help you with it. If you can't access it, they'll pick up the phone and they'll call the high school that you're trying to work with. The same thing's true for financial aid. They'll look at what you have outstanding for financial aid. Sometimes there are extra documents that you have to supply for financial aid. They're not just going to let you kind of hang out there in the wind and hope for the best. They're going to reach out to you and say, hey, let us help you do this. You've got these 3 documents that you have to supply to us so that we can calculate your financial aid. Let us help you find them. Let us help you make sure that these are the right documents and that we're good to go. So, but the thing that you have to do is start the process. So apply for admission and apply for financial aid. And then one last thing that we're going to recommend that you apply for, and that's scholarship. So in addition to financial aid, which is made up of grants that you do not have to pay back, assuming that you stay in good stead and you stay in good standing with the college, and you don't withdraw overly much or at the wrong time of year, you don't have to pay those back. Work study, which is like having a job on campus that you get paid for, just like any other job in biweekly payments or paychecks. You don't have to pay that back either because you earn that money. And we also offer loans, of course. So loans, sometimes people are afraid to take those loans out. But if a loan is the only thing standing between you and completing college, take the loan. Educational loans are the most affordable loans in the United States. Especially when you're looking at a program like engineering that can be very lucrative and rewarding financially. As Dr. Bowling pointed out, you can usually pay those off pretty quickly with a job connected to engineering. So scholarships. You can apply for scholarships at bluefieldState.edu/scholarships with an S on the end. It's plural. And we have scholarships. First of all, the most common scholarship we have is the academic scholarship. And we look at your test scores and we look at your GPA, whether it's your most recent one, whether it's from high school or from another college or that you're transferring in, what have you. And we make an award based on that. And all you have to do for that is apply for admission and supply the documents that we ask for. And we'll take a look at it. You don't have to have any special application for that. We do have special applications, however, for 2 others, and we have a foundation or leadership scholarship, and those are donated by friends and alumni of Bluefield State College to help other students as they begin their journey through the college. And we give out hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships every year, but we can't give you a dime if you don't apply. The deadline for that is April 1. So that's for the following year. So if you're planning on being a student here in August 2021, you apply for scholarship before April 1st. And we do also have an honors college now, which is a full ride scholarship that provides you with all sorts of advantages in terms of internships and special advising opportunities and all sorts of amazing opportunities to go along with making college extremely affordable. But you can reach all that through bluefieldState.edu/scholarships. Okay, so does anyone have any questions at all about our program, about admissions, financial aid, any questions about the college in general? You're welcome to type those in to the chat box, and I'll be happy to, either myself or someone else here in the meeting will be happy to answer. Do we have any questions? Okay, so if you have any questions in the future, and if you're like me, a half hour from now, you'll say, oh, I should have asked that question. My email address is Underwood, UNDERWOOD, at bluefieldState.edu. And again, I'm the Chief Enrollment Officer, and that means that I supervise admissions and financial aid here at the college. So if I don't know the answer to something, I can absolutely get you in touch with someone who does. Okay? Well, if no one else has any further questions tonight, I want to thank you all for your attendance at the open house. Of course, our faculty and staff, who have provided their expertise and knowledge with us. We can't be more thankful for that than we are. And of course, you, our potential students. Bluefield State College is more than a place to just earn a degree. Here you're going to become a true scholar and professional. You'll learn to create and discover the life that's best for you. Here you're going to join a family that will challenge you academically, but will always give you the tools and support you need to be successful. We are looking forward to serving, guiding, mentoring, and teaching you, the next generation of Bluefield State leaders. Good night and take care.